All right, kid. Now remember, if anyone asks, your name is Stevie Parcheesi, you don't speak English, and you're there to work on the AC.
Yeah, and don't lollygag around in there. We want to catch every bit of that meeting, so get to Pantalone Springs as early as you can.
I don't know, guys. Is this even legal?
Look, you wanted to be a sports journalist, kid. Sometimes that means talking to people in the studio. Sometimes that means climbing in air vents above conference rooms to get exclusive access to a restricted access playoff meeting. If you can't handle that, then I don't know if you're cut out for this job.
Why do I have to do it? Shouldn't one of you two be going in there?
Everyone knows us in there. We'd stick out like sore thumbs, especially since both teams made it clear that this meeting wasn't open to the media.
Yeah, they're fully expecting to see Paul Wayne or I try to sneak in, but they aren't looking for you, Buzz.
It's Brett.
I know that.
Okay, now let's try this again, and use your accent. What do you say if someone stops you?
It's a me, Stevie Parcheesi. No speak of the English. Working on the AC.
There you go.
Fettuccine linguine. I don't know, guys. This sounds stupid.
You nailed it, kid. You'll do great. Now put on that mustache.
Yeah, and don't forget that toolbox either. Your wireless transmitter and microphones are in there. All right, now text us when you're in the place, and we'll patch you into the broadcast.
Oh, and if you happen to walk past the Pantalone Springs cafeteria, can you snag me one of their fried pies?
Absolutely not.
Don't make me dock your pay there, kid.
I don't get paid.
Even better.
You think he'll make it in?
I think so, you know. That Buck's got drive.
Wait, isn't his name Burke?
He could be right.
All right, who the hell painted over the station van with Cecil Septic Tank's logo? We don't sell ad space on the van, and why the hell does that kid look like Mario?
Calm down, Bruce. We're just about to head to Pantalone Springs to cover the meeting between our coaching staff and Boats. You know, they're deciding on the terms for the playoff game and all that stuff, you know?
Wait, what? They banned all media from that meeting. You two can't get in there.
Exactly, which is why the kid's going in. You know, we're going to have him sit in the vents to listen in while we broadcast from the van across the street. We'll be the only station to have exclusive access, Bruce.
Yeah, you want listeners? We'll get you some listeners, Bruce. Everyone in 4 counties will be tuning in to get this.
This is insane, boys. You're sending the kid up into the air vents? This isn't Mission Impossible, Dwayne.
Oh, come on.
The Pantalone Springs Conference Center has drop ceilings. That kid's gonna bust and fall right through.
Relax, Bruce. I crawled up there once to spy on an ex-wife of mine. Those vents will hold 285 pounds comfortably.
285? You haven't weighed that little since high school. Look, it's obvious we're too far along to stop all this, but just know that I'm not coming to bail that kid out when he gets caught, and the new paint job on that van, that's coming straight out of your paycheck.
All right, look, trust us, Bruce. You'll be thanking us whenever this is all over. All right, sponsors will be lining up to get on this crack reporting by the Q.W.I.L team.
Just get out there and make sure the kid doesn't hurt himself, and his mom's gonna skin me alive if anything bad happens.
Andale, compadre. We got a story to break.
Let's roll!
Paultom City's source for sports, Q.W.I.L, the Q.W.I.L.
Good afternoon, Pine Nation. Welcome to a special episode of The First Down on Q.W.I.L, the Q.W.I.L. I am Dwayne Applebottom.
And I'm Paul Wayne T.
And we are coming to you live on location from the parking lot of the Pump and Run gas station and convenience store directly across from the Pantalone Springs Resort and Conference Center, where our fearless Paultom Porcupine coaching staff is scheduled to meet with the coaching staff from Boat to discuss terms for our second tilt of the year. The Pines are 2.5-point favorites going into this game, despite them losing the previous matchup, and the stakes are about as high as they could possibly be now for our boys.
You heard that right, folks. Your Porcupines rattled off a solid win over the Arlen Longhorns last week and booked their ticket to regionals, only to find that we'd be playing none other than those low-down tuggers from Boat. They say second chances are hard to come by this day and age, but it looks like your Porcupines will have one more shot at taking down Boat and ending their run at state in the process.
Yeah, now we'll get to the game last week here in a minute, but we wanted to explain exactly what's happening today, because this is a very fluid situation at the moment, all right? After getting the news that we'd be playing each other, there was a bit of a kerfuffle over where the game would be played. Obviously, our coaches balked at playing at the Marina again, after what happened last time.
Exactly.
So what happened there 3 weeks ago, that wasn't too good for us. We wanted to do something else. We weren't going to play there. So their coaches also made a fuss. This is Boat. They made a fuss about coming to the Den for fear of retaliation from our side, which is understandable.
Yeah, and considering the amount of mobs that we've had to quell since the boat game in the regular season, I can't say I blame them for being a bit wary.
Yeah, it's a fair concern on their end. So with both parties being at a standstill, the UIL has stepped in and put together a parlay between our two coaching staffs to decide where the game will be played, and more importantly, who will officiate that game. So the rub here is that the meeting was closed to the public and the media for fear of inciting further tensions between the two towns, which is just ludicrous. I mean, we are a fair and balanced news organization here at Q.W.I.L, and we all know that if anyone was going to incite anything, it would be those clowns from Boat.
Exactly. It wasn't us who stole a mascot and then released said mascot on the field to ruin our chance at a district title.
Precisely. So needless to say, this meeting has got both communities a little up in arms, but ultimately, I'm glad both parties are at least open to meeting and finding some common ground, because in the end, it's about the kids and it's about letting them play. But, it's also about bragging rights and blood vengeance. So we're eager to see what comes of it.
Now, I know our listeners are wondering why we're doing a remote for this meeting when the media wasn't allowed in, but folks, Dwayne and I aren't ones to stay away from news when the Pines are involved. So we've actually sent one of our reporters into the Pantalone Springs Resort and Conference Center undercover to get the lowdown this meeting and what both parties agreed to.
That's right. Now, our fearless reporter, Beck, has carefully infiltrated the premises and is reporting live. So we're going to check in with him now. Beck, can you hear us?
Yeah, it's Brett, and I'm in position as we speak.
What can you see out there, Beck? Are the coaches from Boat armed?
Why the hell would they be armed?
It's Boat, Dwayne. You can't rule anything out with them.
No, nobody's in the room yet, but I see 5 seats on both sides of a long table. There's 5 Gatorade bottles on one side and 5 Powerade bottles on the other.
All right, the Powerade has to be Boat. They're a Powerade school.
Gross.
You said it. All right, anything else you can see, Beck?
It's Brett, and no, it looks like nobody's arrived yet.
All right. Well, we'll be checking in with you again once everyone has arrived. Hang tight in there, kid.
There's so much dust in here.
Well, while we wait for the coaches to arrive, I think it's a good time to recap our win from last week there, Dwayne.
Absolutely, Paul Wayne. Our Porcupines kicked off playoff season with a bang last week, taking down the Arlen Longhorns with a score of 41-20.
Yeah, this was definitely a game that will go down in Porcupine history as our boys connected on not 1, not 2, but 4 flea flickers throughout the game.
The trickeration was in full effect last Friday, and boy, was it fun to see. I mean, Rob Gonzalez hit Sax McColton twice, Creeder Sackrider got one, and Peyton Hurst capped it off in the third with a beautiful one-handed catch. Now, usually, you're lucky to see 1 trick play in a game, but 4? I mean, it's almost unheard of at this level, and frankly, I love the play calling by Coach Strong.
I do too. Just a perfect example of if it ain't broke, don't fix it there. The Longhorn defense obviously feared #Johnson's running ability going into this game, and Coach Strong made them pay for it.
Now, #Johnson got him a touchdown on a kick return to start the second half, which was great to see because you couldn't help but feel like he had something to prove after that game against Boat.
Yeah, I did notice him nervously looking to both sides of the field before he crossed the goal line, so I do think there's a bit of a PTSD still lurking under the water there. But all in all, he looked to be back in the same old # we all know and love.
Now, not all moments were exactly worthy of a highlight reel, as we did have a bit of a hiccup after our last touchdown in the fourth quarter by our backup running back, Remy Fontenot. Our special teams unit came in, and they had a little bit of a miscommunication, and we missed that extra point.
Yeah, apparently, Elijah Renchel had a little too much of the Holy Ghost in him and deep snapped the ball back to Derek Chudd like he was David trying to knock out Goliath. And just like Goliath, Chudd got hit right in the helmet.
Yeah, Renchel somehow hit Derek Chudd square in the face mask, lodged the ball in there, and old Chudd couldn't get it loose in time before he was swallowed up by a herd of Longhorns. And when I say lodged, I mean that thing was stuck in there tighter than a gnat's bunghole. I mean, it damn near took the entire athletic training staff to pull that thing out. It was like Paultom's version of the sword and the stone on the sideline. But, to his credit, though, he still tried to get the ball down by burying his face in the turf. And, kicker Will Williamson, he took a swing at it. The ball was laces out. I mean, it was pretty impressive to see, but, yeah, I mean, they just swarmed him.
Now, while I was happy we got that last TD to cap off the evening, this was just embarrassing. That's a rare miscue from Elijah, and really not something you want to see this late in the season.
Yeah, I don't know if he had too much of Pastor Renchel's signature holy oil on his hands, but he needs to get his snaps under control and fast if we want to have a shot at beating Boat next week.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to note for those out in Pine Nation that weren't able to make it out is the outstanding fundraising Buddy Boudreaux put on for Project Graduation during halftime.
Yeah, that was great. After the band's performances, Buddy put on the Boudin Biathlon, which consisted of boudin Macon and boudin Eaton. Now, contestants had 15 minutes to make as many boudin balls as possible. Then they had to take those boudin balls, drop them in hot oil, and eat as many of those as possible. I mean, it was truly something to see.
In hindsight, having that competition take place on the field, though, may have been a poor choice on Buddy's part, as the Longhorns did protest that there was too much oil and fat on the field after halftime. But to that I say, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen.
Yeah, spare me the complaints. I mean, if your boys can't play with a little scalding hot peanut oil on the field, then they shouldn't be in the playoffs, you know? Our boys handled it just fine, which is just a credit to Coach Strong's conditioning, you know? Our boys have played through so much pain, they can't even feel hot oil on their skin.
Exactly. Arlen wasn't doing hot going into the half to begin with, so I think the hot oil complaint was just an easy excuse.
Right. Regardless, this is a great team win, and exactly the type of bounce-back win you want to see after such a heartbreaking loss to end that regular season. Now, vengeance is on the menu, and these Pines are hungry, Paul Wayne. And speaking of vengeance, let's check in with our reporter, Bud, to see if anything is happening with that meeting. Bud, are you with us, and any movement on your front?
It's Brett, and the UIL guys are here, but we're still waiting on the coaches. They should be here any minute.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Whenever we come back, hopefully the coaches will have arrived, and we'll have some more information for you. So hang tight, folks. We'll be right back.
Top of the DS to you, muchachos. It's Brett on behalf of Senior O'Grady's Irish Cantina. Here invites you to the grand month-long celebration of Ireland's finest fare, the potato. That's right, it's Potato Month all month long here at Senior O'Grady's, and they're pulling out all the stops this year. Come and try the enchiladas O'Grady's, potato enchiladas mixed with Mexican spices, and topped with their signature Irish whiskey mole. Wash it down with some potato tequila distilled right here in-house. And on Fridays, we invite all of our little leprechauns to come search for the pot of gold, which of course is a kettle filled to the brim with Yukon Gold potatoes. This month's sure to be spud-tacular. So come on down to Senior O'Grady's, muy rapido. Senior O'Grady's, where every day is St. Patrick's Day and every night is Cinco de Mayo. Slancha.
Hometown heroes and local legends. It's Dwayne Applebottom and Paul Wayne Teague.
Welcome back to the First Down with Dwayne and Paul Wayne here on Q.W.I.L. the Q.W.I.L. If you're just joining us, we are currently camped out across from Pantalone Springs, waiting to hear where our boys will play boat in this week's rematch. Our fearless reporter, Bling, is undercover there. And, Bling, we just saw Coach Strong and his staff drive in. Can you confirm that they've arrived?
Yeah, it's Brett, and it looks like both coaches have just walked in. They're shaking hands, and they're still shaking. They're not saying anything. They're still shaking hands. Still shaking. Okay, and the UIL guys just pulled them apart.
I love that. Coach Strong asserting dominance right off the bat. That's what I'm talking about.
God bless that man.
Everyone is sitting down now, and the UIL guy is unfurling a map of Texas. There's a lot of dots on it, and he's pointing to a few of them.
Probably proposed sites for the game. Are there any sites that they're looking at in particular?
It looks like the boat coaches want something in East Texas, and Coach Strong keeps pointing at West Texas.
Ah, yes, the Great Divide. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Or maybe they're talking about the town West Texas, you know?
Possibly.
Which you can't go wrong with that, in my opinion. I mean, it's far be it from me to turn down a kolache in that town, you know?
Guys, the UIL people just suggested Waco, but both coaches just turned that down.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah, I'd rather play in the marina before I play in that hellhole.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this isn't going anywhere. Coach Winkler just keeps pointing further and further east, and Coach Strong's just pointing further and further west.
Sounds like they're trying to angle for one team's fans to drive farther than the other. That's a smart tactic. We'll see where it takes them.
Yeah, that'll probably take a while, but I'm confident Coach Strong will stand strong in the end.
Agreed. We'll check in again with Bard here for another update, but while we're waiting, let's talk about the results of that school board election, Paul Wayne.
Ooh, what a ride that was. Election night was one of highs and one of lows. On one hand, Floyd Farberware won his race for seat 4 handily, winning 81% of the vote to Buckley Worthington's 16, and Penelope picking up 3% on the write-in campaign.
Yeah, that was a landslide, and good for Floyd for running a solid campaign. You know, I felt like his message to get the Microsoft Surface tablets in the hands of the players really resonated with voters, so I'm excited to see those get deployed on the sideline next season.
Yeah. Now, oddly enough, for the race for Seat 2 didn't go as well, as Tammy Longbottom and her pro-math rhetoric propelled her to a win over Purvis Drinkwater and her husband and our preferred candidate, Lonnie Longbottom.
Now, Purvis wasn't really a factor in this race, and I suspect that a lot of that was due to his campaign's marketing.
Yeah, you may have seen his signs around towns, the one that say, "Be heard with Perv," which I love a good slogan, but this one was just an awkward fit.
Really missed the mark with that messaging. I don't know who signed off on him going by Perv, but voters seem to reject that pretty strongly, and rightfully so, in my opinion.
Yeah, and our boy Lonnie looked to be a lock for this seat. Him and his wife Tammy were polling neck and neck leading up to Election Day, but I'll be dadgum if her pro-math agenda didn't come through in the end. You know, something honestly doesn't add up here, Dwayne. Pun very much intended.
Yeah, something doesn't sit right with me either here, which is exactly why I filed a motion with the election board for an investigation into potential voter fraud. I mean, if you're going to tell me over 500 people in this town want the district to provide kids with a STEM academy to learn science, technology, is it engineering or engineering?
Beats me.
Engineering and math over a new stadium with an enhanced jumbotron, 2 gourmet corn roasting stations, a state-of-the-art weight room, and a brand-new bronze porcupine statue? Really? Really? Something's up, Paul Wayne. Something is up, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, something is definitely afoot here, Dwayne, and trust us, folks, we won't stop until every vote is accounted for and verified. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Tammy busts some people down from vote to vote. You know, they'd do anything to stop us from one-up in their stadium.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Regardless, with these new school board members being added in, the vote to approve the new superintendent is definitely in doubt. I mean, it sounds like we're going to have to do a little bit of lobbying here, Paul Wayne.
I'm way ahead of you, Dwayne. I know where every school board member has breakfast in town. Looks like Paul Wayne will be buying a lot of plates of biscuit and gravies over the next year.
Ah, yes, gravy diplomacy. Tried and true. I love it. I like where your head's at, Paul Wayne. The last update from Election Day is that Proposition 12 passed, which gave the town the power to remove the principal if he or she suspended a player without just cause. Now, of course, this proposition was created in response to Dirty Dutch Sanders suspending Rob Gonzalez earlier in the season. And for a moment there, it looked like democracy had won and the people had spoken their piece. But yesterday we got word that the Texas Education Agency, the old TEA, they had stepped in to nullify our proposition, saying that it was anti-educator in its intent and that the district could be barred for any further UIL sanctioned competition. So it was left out of the books. So there you have it, folks. Big government strikes again.
Now, of course, Paultom ISD is no stranger to interference from the TEA. I mean, with our 60% graduation rate for 20 years running, it's almost a surprise when they don't investigate the district some years. But this one just really chapped my hide, Dwayne. The voters spoke and they said, let the boys play.
Yeah, if we weren't on the state train, I think that this would be a totally different conversation, you know. But I know the powers that be don't want to cause a distraction for the boys going into this week, so they backed down. But don't you think for a minute that we don't have old Rube Mayhoff reading over every bylaw on the books to get this proposition back? I mean, even if it means calling a special election, you better believe we'll make it happen, folks.
Oh, looks like we're going to have to do some movement on the meeting front. Let's kick it over to our trusty reporter, Beef, for an update.
Beef? Really? Just wanted to let you guys know that they've decided to break for lunch, but they're currently arguing if they should go out or order in.
Well, that could certainly take a while. So why don't we do this? We're going to take a quick break again. Whenever we come back, hopefully we'll have some more information, y'all. So y'all hang tight. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, it's Linda Handy of Handy's Wellness. The holidays can be frustrating. Your kids are going to kill your budget with their wish list. And your ex will go out of their way to wreck your schedule by dropping off the kiddos late on your weekend. But let all of that stress go with one of our mind, body, and soul professionals to get yourself back in the Christmas spirit. We've been operating on the edge of Paultom since before there was a Paultom. We are one of the longest running businesses in W.H. Nelson County. Safe to say we've been edging longer than anyone in this region of the Lone Star State. And you don't need to worry about us not being in your network. We aren't covered by insurance providers, but we provide you with the assurance that nobody will know you even stopped in for a treatment. Treat yourself to something special this holiday season, maybe even something that is handcrafted. Your body will definitely feel like Christmas, and that self-esteem will shoot to the ceiling. That's down the dirt road off FM 13 past the third double wide on the left. Do yourself a favor, and we'll give you a hand.
You're listening to The First Down with Dwayne and Paul Wayne on Q.W.I.L, the Q.W.I.L.
Welcome back to The First Down. If you're just joining us, we're currently scoping out the closed meeting between our coaching staff and the boat coaching staff where they're hammering out the details of our upcoming playoff game this week.
Guys, sounds like they just made a decision.
We'll spit it out, kid. Don't keep us waiting.
It sounds like they decided to go out and eat for lunch. They said they'll be eating good in the neighborhood.
You interrupted us for that. Walter Cronkite, you are not, son.
Oh, well, they also decided on the playoff location. They're going to play at the Alamo.
God dang, really burying the lead there, kid. Wait, did you say the Alamo?
Yeah, it's something close to that. I don't know. I could only hear them say Alamo. It's hard to hear up in these vents.
I bet they chose the Alamo Dome there, Dwayne.
Yeah, that has to be the Alamo Dome. As much as I'd like to see it, I doubt that the state of Texas would clear us to play a game on the grounds of the Alamo.
Now, I really like this choice, Dwayne. It's a true neutral site. Neither team has a strong base there. There aren't any pro teams that play there, so nobody has any professional biases towards the venue. And everyone outside of San Antonio has mostly forgotten the stadium is even there. Great move by our coaching staff to get a venue that truly benefits nobody.
Yeah, sometimes a clean slate is needed in these rivalry games, and we definitely got one with this venue choice. Now, the next item on the agenda is choosing a referee outfit to officiate the game, and this is going to be as tough a deliberation as that venue decision, if not more so.
That's right, Dwayne. We want these zebras to be free and clear of any boat influence, and there's no telling how many officiating crews the Tuggers have paid off over the years.
Yeah, they're going to be evaluating crews from all over the state in there, and frankly, this is giving me a lot of heartburn, Paul Wayne. I mean, this may be the most important decision Coach Strong makes for this game.
Yeah, picking a ref crew from the wrong part of the state could have huge implications.
Yeah, now let's break that down a little bit for the listeners, Paul Wayne. Which part of the state is a no-go for you, referee-wise?
For me, it's East Texas. I can't understand half the things those fellers behind the Pine Belt say most of the time.
Now, see, for me, it's West Texas. Hell, half the refs out there ref soccer on the side. I mean, they raise red cards in games instead of throwing flags half the time. It's just a mess.
But honestly, the Panhandle ain't much better. Those refs usually smell like feedlots, so they stink up the field both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and the Dallas refs are the snobbiest bunch of bastards you'll ever did see. I mean, they're throwing Gucci flags on the field, wearing North Face vests over their damn ref uniforms. I mean, come on, man.
And the refs out of Austin aren't much better. They smoke so much dope out there, you got to wonder if they're even paying attention to the game half the time.
Yeah. This is going to be a tough choice, indeed. I'm eager to hear what the two teams decide on. But while we're waiting on that news, I wanted to touch on state a bit more, Paul Wayne, because these kids have a lot to look forward to if they take on the title this year.
Agreed. Outside of bragging rights, our boys have their eyes on the most coveted trophy in sports. I'm not talking about the Stanley Cup, the Lombardi, or even the Heisman Trophy. I'm talking about the Texas High School Football Division 4A Championship Trophy. Truly the holy grail of Texas high school football.
Paul Wayne, my britches are percolating when I hear you talk about that. I love that. And the boys don't just get that trophy. They also get a state ring. Now, these are our most prized possessions, and I just hope with my heart of hearts that our guys get a chance to put one on this year.
Don't you have a cousin who works for the ring maker or something?
Oh, well, one of my cousins, Billy Lee, inspected the fire extinguishers at Jostens Ring Manufacturing Facility this year, and he saw a catalog for this year's rings, and the selection is pretty impressive, Paul Wayne. I mean, we're talking 8-carat diamonds, Paul Wayne, 14-carat gold bands.
Wow.
Hell, they could even get one of those stones encrusted with purple and brown. And, assuming we win, they could get 7 of those diamonds on there to represent each time Paultom has won state. I mean, the possibilities are pretty impressive, and that's just the ring. I mean, these boys will get a lot more if they win state.
Yeah, for all you people out there in Pine Nation who haven't experienced the glory of a state title, it can't be overstated the perks that come with winning. For example, all Paultom players who win a state title receive a get-out-of-jail-free card that's good to get out of a third-degree felony and lower in W.H. Nelson County. Just show your ring off, and Sheriff Dankin and his boys will just look the other way. Oh, and also on the legal front, you get free legal representation by Rube Mayhoff and Associates during your first divorce. If you went on the field, old Rube will help you win off the field.
Also, if you need to make a last-minute beer run with the fellas on a Friday or Saturday night, any convenience store owner in town will not check your ID as long as you've got your state ring on.
Yeah, being able to get booze whenever I wanted to at that age was about as clutch as Tom Brady late in the fourth quarter.
Agreed, partner. Agreed. Now, some other perks that we got was being honored every year at the team banquet, which is nice. We also get, half off at McMurray Mufflers. That's for life,
Yeah.
you know. And if you happen to be a starter in a state title winning team, Don's dealership will hook you up with a brand new, pre-owned, top-of-the-line Oldsmobile. I mean, that's at least what we got.
Yeah, and for you underclassmen that win state, classes become optional, and your grades become whatever the salutatorian's is that year. Now, it's not quite a valedictorian GPA, but we can't make your grades too obvious. The TEA will check on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and finally, the most important perk of winning state has got to be the free soft serve and chips and salsa at Senor O'Grady's Irish Cantina.
Dwayne, I think that's free for everyone.
You sure about that? Well, I mean, I bet everyone doesn't get free refills when they run out of chips and salsa.
Yeah, they do. Dwayne, is that the only Mexican restaurant you've ever eaten at?
No. I've been to Taco Casa, too. Look, why do you got to call me out like that on the air? I don't get it, Paul Wayne.
We have more news. They've just decided that the referee crew will be out of Dublin.
Dublin? Like Ireland? Those potato-eating micks don't know the first thing about football, kid. What kind of crap are you trying to pull here?
No, hold on there, Paul Wayne. I think Bront meant Dublin, Texas. Am I right there, Bront?
It's Brett, and yes, that's exactly what I meant. Dublin, Texas.
All right. Now, this could work in our favor, Paul Wayne, because we both know that Dublin is known for Dr. Pepper, and we buy that stuff by the caseload here in Paultom. I mean,
Yep.
I've always heard that Tag Winkler and his staff over in Boat are more of a Mr. Pibb team, so, we might get some calls fall our way for all the business that we've given those Dubliners over the years, Just say this could be good. This could be good. Bront, you just earned yourself a soft serve at Senor O'Grady's Irish Cantina on me there, pal.
It's Brett, and I'm lactose intolerant.
Even better.
All right, folks. There you have it. We'll be heading down to San Antonio for what is sure to be a battle of the century. Now, I'm pretty sure this will be our Remember the Alamo moment. Don't you agree, Paul Wayne?
Possibly, but didn't all of the guys at the Alamo die?
That's neither here nor there. In the words of William B. Travis, victory or death, Paul Wayne. Victory or death. Folks, that's going to do it for us here live from the Pump and Run gas station. We'll be coordinating the caravan down to the Alamo City this week, so y'all be sure to keep your phones near you for any purple and brown alerts.
Guys, how am I supposed to get out of here?
Oh, and also, we'll be meeting up for a little pregame at Senior O'Grady's playoff happy hour tonight. All are invited, and Irish Marg Bombs are half off all night. All profits will go towards collecting Red Bartleby's ashes from the bonfire pile and re-entering them in a new boat, which will be burning before this next playoff game in the rodeo arena. So be sure to get out there and show your support for a good cause.
Guys.
Yeah, be sure to come out to that and get Red Spirit back with us one last night, No man shall be left behind, as they say.
Guys, please come and get me.
And with that, until next time, I'm Dwayne Applebottom.
I'm Paul Wayne T.
I'm Brett, and I'm stuck.
Go Pines and sink boat.
Guys, can you come get me now?
The official broadcast partner of Paultom City Consolidated Athletics, Q.W.I.L, the Q.W.I.L.